5 years ago, I found myself in the worst place that I could be in, and it was being healthy. And the sad part is, I didn't even realize how bad it gotten until this one trip with my son on a mountain bike practice. He loves riding mountain bikes, and I do too. We always grew up riding mountain bikes, and he decided to be on a mountain bike racing team. So I was so excited because I get to ride my mountain bike, and I never had an issue of not being able to keep up with anybody. I usually could jump on it and do whatever I wanted to on it. I didn't think about that. Been 10 or 15 years since I did that. So I remember this practice, we're all out gathered around, and the coach splits us up in 3 groups: fast, medium, and slow. And for some reason I was like, well, shoot, I'm not slow, but I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to go right in the middle. And that's where my son was, and my brother and his son. So let's just go right in the middle. And we took off on the trails, and I was so excited because I was like, oh, the trees were buzzing by. It was kind of a little cool in the morning, so it was like, oh, I remember why I love doing this. And then the 10 minutes passed by, and it felt like my heart was in my head. It was pounding so hard. My knees was aching, and I started falling all the way to the back. And got to the point at the first mile marker, the whole team was waiting on me, and I was so embarrassed. And they waited up for me, and of course, they said, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And they took off again. And I had to pedal back, and I was so much in pain, and I couldn't catch my breath. And then they waited for me at the next half mile. And finally, I was slowing the whole team down. The slow team caught back up with us. And before anybody else could say it, I jumped on. I was like, hey, I'm going to hang out with this group here. And this group, I looked around, and it's like these people were 10 years older than I was. They just looked like they were totally out of shape. And I was like, I'm just going to go to the very back. I couldn't even keep up with them. I remember we went back to a loop and went back to the parking lot, and it was a mixture of older women and older men. And the coach said, hey, you parents, y'all want to go back to the parking lot? And they said, no, we're good. And for some reason, my dumb self said, no, I'll go again. And I was hoping that my bike would break or something, but it didn't. But it did remind me that, I need to get in perfect health. Not perfect health, but I need to get in better shape. And I knew that weight was an issue. I was 40 pounds overweight at that point, but it had to be more than that. So I had to figure out my why. And my why was, I wanted to run with my grandkids. My kids are older, and I wanted to keep up with them. So my why became my power. My why became, it overcame a lot of obstacles that I went through my weight transformation. And I did achieve my goals, but it had to start off with the why.